Now we're going to learn about equations of circles. Maybe hard to believe, but this is an equation of a circle. We're going to talk about why. It's going to be slow at first. If you could think about it, a pair of x and y values that satisfy this equation. I do believe we talked about this at one point. So let's say I assume x is 0. That narrows down my y values. They can either be 5, because 0 squared plus 5 squared is 25, or -5. There's going to be a lot of these opposite pairs. I could do the same thing here. Put a 0 in for y and get plus or minus 5 for my x value. Turns out I could also kind of use parts, meaning like if I take 3, put it in for x squared, I get 9. Now I'm wondering what number squared would kind of fill in the blank there, because I'm still 16 short. A 4 would work, or a -4, and then you could also start to use -3 and +4, and you have all these plus or minus pairs. -3, -4, 4, 3, -4, -3. So anyway, you get all these pairs of things. Here's 5, 0. Here's 0. Or here's -5, 0. Here's 0, 5. And it's not a square. When you graph 4, 3 over 4 up 3, it looks more like that. And you end up with all these values. You do get a circle. The radius of this circle is 5. That happens to be the square root of that number, and it's centered at the origin. The center of the circle is 0, 0. Can't see it in there, but it'll be more obvious in a minute. I could take that same circle we just created with radius 5 and move it. And don't forget that if I add 2 here, that moves the center 2 units to the left. And if I subtract 3 here, that moves my center 3 units up. So now the center of my circle is located here at -2, 3. And I try to envision moving out from this spot, 5 units in every direction. So 5 units in this direction would be out here. 5 units in this direction would be about here. 5 units up and 5 units down. And so now I have that same circle. It's just moved to a new radius. It's supposed to be a 25, by the way. So here's another equation. X plus 3 squared, y plus 2 squared equals 64. You can quickly identify the center of this circle is located at -3, -2, whose radius is square root of that number. It's 8. They don't always give you a nice perfect square here, but oftentimes they do. That part of it is easy. Sketching graph may take a little bit more work. I would just say think about where you're at. If for instance, this is already 3 units to the left of the origin, then when I work my way from my center 8 units to the right, I work my way 1, 2, 3. I still have 5 to go. And you just got to now kind of use this as a guide. That's your radius. I can translate that length up and down and over. Sometimes they do say find the endpoints of these circles. You'd have to come up with coordinates. For instance, the coordinate this endpoint would be 5, -2.